Hi, I'm Victoria Cramer, and I am a two-time breast cancer survivor, but I don't think of that as typically my opening line. I would introduce myself as a serial entrepreneur, maybe an author, mother of twin 6-year-olds, and then most recently I'd call myself an at-home teacher, juggling working as the president of a lodging company called Lodging Dynamics Hospitality Group, and then guiding my kids through remote learning through this 5 years of 2020 that we're going through. But in addition to that, I have fought cancer twice, and my story, I think, is probably intriguing in that I exercised every single day of that journey. And if you can picture being told that you have breast cancer 5 months after you've given birth to twins and you think your world is already crazy, then you can probably put yourself in my shoes. And it was overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. I needed a paper bag to breathe in, and I hadn't done that since I was a kid. I was hyperventilating, and I was told that this was a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And then I was handed the Bagot bag, and that ended up being, wow, such a godsend. I am a very organized person, and I was told by a friend, Victoria on a strategy is unstoppable. But I didn't have a strategy. I didn't know anything about fighting cancer, so I was floundering. And I would say that I was grateful for the Bagot bag because it helped me to realize and understand just what I was going to need to do as part of my strategy, and how many doctors I was going to need to be a part of my medical team and my medical strategy. And so I'm so grateful to have found Bagot. Now, you would think that I would have found them sooner, because I happen to race every year for 19 years now in the 24 Hours of Old Pueblo. And for those that don't know what that is, Bagot sponsors it, and it is a 24-hour mountain bike race. And it is grueling. It is actually really fun, though. That's why I love it so much. And it's a challenge. It doesn't matter that I've done it 19 years. Every single year, I learn something new. And I decided that I was going to race even on chemo. I was going to run. I was going to do half marathons. I was going to do mountain bike racing. I was going to do everything I could to find a goal to have for every single month. Now, I did all of this with doctors guiding me and helping me to understand the importance of staying active throughout my journey, and I'm grateful for it. I think it's a piece that makes it unique. I don't find very many cancer warriors that exercise every single day. And when I think about the profound impact that it had on me mentally, and the strength that it gave me, and then physically, it actually helped flush the toxins out of my system so quickly that my recovery time after chemo rounds, and mind you, I'd have days where I was getting chemo for 9 hours a day, and I may only be able to walk that day for 30 minutes, and I'd call it kind of a sloth walk. But then every day I would do another 30 minutes, and I'd get further and further, and then I'd start to jog walk, and then I'd start to ride my bike. And by day 5, I was feeling great. Where other people that I watched around me were struggling mentally, they were very sad and very much in pain, struggling to actually feel better. And then they would start to feel better around day 7, 8, or 9. And I was cutting that down significantly. So I thought of it as a big win and started sharing with people, you can't just exercise randomly. You really have to infuse exercise in every single day. And if you're willing to miss one day, you're probably willing to miss 3 days or 5 days, and it just keeps continuing. So I didn't let that be the case for me. I stayed focused on exercising every single day. And then the book that I wrote, it's called, this is me 5 years ago, first of all. So that's me and my 5 or 6 month old twins. I think in this picture, they might have been closer to 10 or 11 months. But anyway, the book is called Living Life Loudly: How Will You Face Your Speed Bump? And I wrote it because I wanted to help other people to understand that it doesn't matter what your speed bump is. It might be surviving COVID and trying to keep from being depressed. It might be being somewhat at home working parent trying to get your kids through school. It may be the loss of a loved one, but it doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is that hits you, that you can be resilient through it. And I share with folks the tools that I think make such an impact. One of them is exercise every day. And I say exercise, but what I'm saying when I say that is movement. Find a way to move every single day for at least 30 minutes, and it will significantly improve your outlook on that day. And that is part of the strategy, is take it one day at a time. And then additionally, I share some of the impact of infusing joy into your life and what that means, along with focusing on other people. When you focus on other people and you give to other people, you forget about what you're going through or the depths of despair that you're going through, because that no longer becomes important when you shift your focus to someone else. And it took me part of my journey to figure that out. I started off saying, I will find a reason to smile every single day. And then partway through, it shifted to, I will give someone a smile every single day. There's someone else out there that needs one. I'm going to help them with that. And I think the combination of exercise, infusing joy, and finding a way to give to other people really made me much more resilient. Now, if you want to know more about my story on the bike, that's a whole nother one. I would say I went from being a pretty average mountain biker to hearing the words from one doctor that said, dial it back. You're not going to be able to be setting personal bests or personal records. You're probably not going to be sitting on the podium in a top spot. And I kind of took that as a challenge and thought, well, I'm going to not only do that, but I'm going to do that on chemo, or I'm going to do that on radiation. There were a lot of throwing up days. But I'll tell you what, it's made me a better athlete. I would say I'm a much better competitor now because of having to face cancer, not just once, but twice, if you can imagine that. I apparently didn't learn enough the first go around because I had to get it again. And I learned the second go around that I had a lot more to learn. The other thing too is people ask me constantly, how long have you been cancer free? And I've stopped thinking about it as a possibility for me to count. I don't ever really know. How will I ever know? I'm never going to know. I could be not cancer free right now, and I won't have any idea for a while. But I'll tell you what, I've decided that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm living life loudly, and I'm doing it every single day in a really great way. And I'm doing some epic stuff along the way. So that's my story. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you get out there and get inspired and get pedaling. Thanks, and have a great one.